All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Underground. This is Interactive Chat Volume 78, our weekly Solo Man podcast where we talk about everything news, reviews, announcements, trailers, state of plays, PC support, Quest 3 games. What is going on here? Are we on the right show? Hold on. Hold the phone. No, that is right. This is our weekly Solo Man podcast. We talk about everything PSVR 2 related. My name is AJ. What is up, everybody? So good to see you. I haven't seen you since my mascapades with my total wardrobe malfunction failure of my Halloween costume. But I appreciate y'all being really good sports about that. But no, man, last time we spoke was Halloween. Had a wonderful Halloween. Hope everyone did out there as well. Spooky season came and went a little bit too fast. But nonetheless, I feel like we at least went out with a bang. Of course, did my show, talked about a bunch of spooky games, and then also had, a very lovely, relaxing Phasmophobia stream. Didn't get scared at all. Which, if you actually watch, you know I'm lying. My soul actually left my body at one point, but it was worth it because I love horror games, and Phasmophobia is fun, man. It is janky, but it's a lot of fun. This is, of course, Interactive Chat, where I like to interact with you guys and say, what is up to Melchiah, the Soul Reaving Game Cat? Dude, I cannot believe that they are remaking Soul Reaver. That is bonkers, but I love it. I might actually play that, or I'll just go play the PS1 version that I own, because I have like 2 copies of that. I'll go play one of those. Boo Jew, the 6 feet underground game cat, still repping Halloween. I love it. What is up? Elite Name Squad in the house. Jars of Ash, the Legacy of Kane Cat. Holy crap, man! We've got 2 Soul Reaver cats in the chat. That is sweet, man. Represent. I love it. Love you guys. The Game Cat, Andrew Ehrenreich. What's poppin'? What up, man? Dead Ringer, the Game Cat. Yo! Shout out to you, Dead Ringer Juniors. Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for life. What is up, man? Don't make fun of me today, okay? Scott's really good at making fun of me. I'm just kidding. I love it. I welcome it. DJ Dirty Yellow with the phone. Rogue TR, Looper, the Underground Game Cat. Yo, Slap Nuts. Hey, what up, man? Wow, so many of you who are here so quickly today, man. But we got to finish this roll call. Nihilist Ryan, my metal feline friend. Thank you so much, man. I was listening to tons of Cattle Decapitation today. I love that band. I highly recommend the album Terrasite. So good. Also Job for a Cowboy. Go check it out. Moon Healer, that album. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Appreciate the love and support. Right back at you, homie. Says AJ in the place to be, metal hands. Let's go, buddy. Keepy Uppy says, Batman, did someone buy a Quest 3? No, I would never. Never. Me? More? Dude, oh man, yeah, things are getting crazy, man. We're getting crazy out here on the underground. I've learned that, I love VR, man. I love all VR, and I want to support all VR. Of course, this is mainly just a PSVR and PSVR 2 channel, but I got to throw some love to Camouflage here in just a little bit. I'll tell you about my first impressions. I did, in fact, get a Quest 3 and play some Batman. So really, we're winging it here, and we're just gonna randomly talk about some Batman on Quest 3 because fuck it, why not? Mzadi, sorry for the language. Mzadi, good morning to you. Clueless Dad Gamer, good evening to you. Quill the Game Cat, Quill says, wait, there's a scary pirate from last week. Where's the scary pirate from last week? Gone? Stingray X. Booju again, Spooky Yuki, Niles Rhyme, my dude, let's go. All of you, so good to see each and every one of you. Welcome. We got a lot to talk about today, man. Of course, couple different, not a ton of topics, but some deep dives into some things. Like I mentioned before, well, happy Metro Awakening launch day, man. That of course came out today. Gonna do a little bit of a deeper dive on it. I already posted my review for it. but want to go into a little bit more detail on some things because that was very much like a rapid review. I wanted to make it quick and concise. And by the way, I love you guys. Thank you so much for like just the response to that video. I worked really hard on it, and I'll tell you all about it in a little bit. But yeah, we're going to be breaking down. There's a huge alert, guys. There is a massive sale on PSN right now with loads of games. So we're absolutely going to be going through, as always, giving the thumbs up, thumbs down for my most biggest recommendations for that. Spooky Yuki says, I'm enjoying Metro Awakening a lot on PSVR 2. I did as well, my friend. Awesome Tatum says, what up, my dude? Says, you know who else likes a deep dive? Oh, Wes, where are you, man? Where are you? Show up, Wes. Show up at Virtual Strangers. We'll see if that works. And we'll see if he enters with with it. Anyways, guys, so we've got some definitely important things to talk about today. But I want to kick things off. Metro Awakening wasn't the only launch today. In fact, the PS5 Pro, the long-awaited, rumored thing, it was only announced not too long ago. But it's funny because we knew about this thing for like 2 years, I feel like. But yeah, today is the official launch of the PS5 Pro. And I haven't gotten one yet, which I've said many, many times. I'm not going to until the thing is that I think it's a great looking console. It's something that I usually would get, but here's the catch, is that I only play VR. So I'm gonna need more to be enticed a little bit more to jump into a PS5 Pro. But then, of course, No Man's Sky, one of my favorite games of all time, of course, has to go and announce PS5 Pro support, and it supports VR as well. And this is huge, man. There's not a ton of games that support it just yet. The PSSR update is going to be available for PSVR 2, but that's coming at a later date. But right now, that didn't stop a couple developers from already releasing some updates. And I knew Hello Games was going to do it. What I didn't know was that it was going to be at launch. And now I'm like, crap, should I have gotten a PS5 Pro? Because I almost would just for No Man's Sky. But I'm going to hold off. I'm going to hold off a little bit longer. But No Man's Sky has gotten a massive update, and we're going to break down a couple of the details here. I've already seen some people give some impressions, and it sounds like a pretty big upgrade for this. But don't take it from me. Take it from the man who worked on it himself, and that is, of course, Martin Griffiths. Oh, this dude is a god. No, he is awesome, man. But he shared a little bit more info as to the specifics of the PSVR 2. But he says, I spent around 4 to 5 months of my time spread over the last year working on the PS5 Pro support. This was a tough gig since we are one of the smallest teams releasing today, and also one of only a handful of games supporting both 4K and 8K as well as PSVR 2. I'm immensely proud of playing a part in this release today. Hope you all enjoy. And he actually, so they did share some specifics as to there was actually an Upload VR article that kind of mentioned some things. They do mention like the 4K 60 frames per second, I think, and then 8K 30 frames per second. Yes. But that's for flat screeners. For us, for PlayStation VR 2 owners, They say, this is from Upload VR. Not all PS5 Pro improvements are available at launch since PSSR isn't currently enabled for the headset. Hello Games told Upload VR that PSSR isn't supported at launch for titles using foveated rendering, and it's currently looking into this. The studio also informed us that the dynamic resolution scaling, so this uses dynamic resolution, range will jump from 1458p to 2160p on PS5 Pro, stating that foveated rendering increases the effective resolution by 300%. Good God, 300%. But that's not all. We can break it down even more thanks to the wizard that is Martin Griffiths. So some good details in this article about our PSVR 2 release for PS5 Pro. Translating the tech numbers, we use dynamic resolution, so roughly the lowest Pro renders is the highest base PS5 ever did. Then the Pro peak is 55% more pixels multiplied by 1.75 times with foveated rendering. Can you hear how my voice is just getting higher and higher? Oh my God. So the guys, to put it lightly, this is a indeed massive update to No Man's Sky, and this is big. This is really awesome of them to get this out by launch. But yeah, this is essentially like actual like 4K, which is bonkers. And this is huge. Let's see here. But anyways, so this is a huge update. This is something ever since they did the No Man's Sky Worlds update, it really tanked the performance, unfortunately, for the base PS5. And so I was like, well, I'm thinking they might fix this for the PS5 Pro. I actually didn't know it uses dynamic resolution, which, for those who don't know, dynamic resolution is basically resolution that changes in order to perform well. So whenever the system's humming, it can actually max out the resolution as much as possible. If it starts to encounter some performance issues, it can drop it down a little bit. This is something only a handful of games last gen supported, like Star Wars Squadrons and Dreams, and there was something else, I don't remember what it was. But that's actually something I would be really curious about, because any game that uses dynamic resolution, basically the image quality, the resolution it's going to use is dictated by the hardware. And the stronger the hardware, it will change with it. This is why when we got the PS5s, that Dreams was like so much better. So I'll be really curious to see, once somebody hooks up Star Wars Squadrons and Dreams, to see how much that improves that. Looking at you, Bad Robo. Where are you, Bad Robo? I know you're gonna go pick up PS5 Pro, right? And tell us. Do it. But for all the other games, so hold on. Before I get ahead of myself here, there is one more game, big one, that is significant here for this PS5 Pro launch, and that is, of course, Kayak VR Mirage, and they've got some details here. So these are the specs for the PS5 Pro versus the standard. For dynamic resolution, it says standard 60 to 90%. On a Pro, it's 90 to 100%. For textures, they went from epic 4K textures to cinematic 8K textures. So Kayak VR Mirage now has 8K textures in the game, and for those who have ever seen that before, I guess the best example I can give you, maybe not the best example, but the only example I can think of, at least on PSVR 2, is Cube. Cube actually has 8K textures, but of course the geometry and the just overall graphical fidelity, density of Kayak VR Mirage is going to be much higher. Shout out to Cube though, which also is getting PS5 Pro support. For post-processing, it's now post-processing effects, detail quality for the LOD distance, and anti-aliasing are now upgraded from epic to cinematic, which that's kind of, I guess, like the PC way of saying it. Basically the highest, they're maxed out. The frame rate is 90 native frames per second. And then, of course, no ray tracing is supported. So those are the two big ones I've been seeing everybody talking about. But, you know, like I said, off to a pretty good start, but I'm going to need to wait before I'm convinced. I mean, it's $700. And I only play VR. So for me, as tempted as I am right now, especially with No Man's Sky, I mean, that's one that actually, and that was just announced today. So I was like, oh, like now the temptation has begun, but I'm going to hold out a little bit longer. I'm going to wait to see more updates and see if it's something that can really break me and break my will. And then eventually have to buy one and cave in. Lincoln Clay, thank you so much for the $5 dono, my friend. Appreciate the love and support. Right back at you, homie. Says, streamer Frogboy says GT7 with PSVR 2 on PS5 Pro is cleaner and smoother. Mura and blur is gone, but picture isn't as clear and crisp as he would like. So that's the thing. And we experienced something similar with the PS4 Pro. This is the thing, is that even if you upgrade the hardware of the PS5, the developers still have to go into the game and update it as well. This is why not every game we would have hoped for, got PS4 Pro support. Many did. I think like there was a lot that did. And it made a huge difference, especially going from a base PS4 to a PS4 Pro. But that's the similar thing here. The good thing is, the nice result here though, is that basically with a PS5 Pro, with games that aren't patched, they won't have these enhancements until the developers go in there and patch them, but they will always be running at their best that they can possibly run, and they will be very smooth. You know, if there was any game that maybe had some chugs here and there or some performance dips, those actually might be ironed out. The thing is though, you're not going to get like a higher resolution unless they use dynamic resolution, which I'm not aware of any that do. And you're not going to get like better textures, anything, unless the developers go and patch there. It still does make a difference. It still does make a nice, smoother experience, as we saw with the PS5, PS4 games on PS5. But again, developers have to go in there. So off to an okay start for being like a non-official PSVR 2 support start. No Man's Sky is a big one. I mean, that is one that immediately makes me want to get one, but I'm going to need to see more. I want to see an official update for Gran Turismo. I want to see an official update for Resident Evil, all these things. And I know a lot of people are really curious about this too. I get so many comments about is this game going to get a PS5 Pro patch or whatnot. There is a lot of interest, and there are definitely people out there, many of you included, that would probably be very interested in picking up a PS5 Pro, but they got to show us, man. They got to show us. If I played flat games still, I would absolutely buy one right now, because I'd love to go play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'd love to go play a lot of other things, but a lot of those games, the little bit of flat games that I tested on PS5, like some of them, like Final Fantasy 16 and Rebirth, like they did have some performance issues. They could use a big boost. So those will benefit greatly from this. But yeah, I cannot wait. It's exciting knowing that at least they do plan to have the PSSR update for PS5. That could be a pretty significant thing. So we'll have to wait and see more. But for now, I'll take just a patch to get us by. Things like this No Man's Sky that it increases the resolution by a lot, probably helps a lot of the frame rate. because after the Worlds update, No Man's Sky looks like the image quality is insane, but the performance has taken a hit as a result. So that'll be really interesting to see, as well as any other games that do it. So congrats to everybody that picked one up and likes to play No Man's Sky. So that'll be really, really cool. I can't wait. If anybody in the chat has played it so far, definitely let me know what your thoughts are. I'll try to I'll try to give you a shout out here, but I know like the PS5 Pros are still arriving right now. Like not everybody has even gotten theirs just yet. Some people are still waiting for them to show up. Some people literally they're getting them as we speak here now. So gonna have to take a little bit of time before people get to test it out. Beard of Power 666 says, I'm confident the Pro will be worth it for VR, but I'd not rush to get one just yet. You got mine for more than VR. All right, some of you guys are calling me a PC gamer now, which is funny because I haven't actually played a PC VR game in probably a month, dude. And you know why? Because there have been some hot console releases lately. You know, we recently had stuff like Into the Radius, and even Snow Scout was a great indie game. I know I'm forgetting some other ones, but the big day today, this is of course Metro Week, because Metro Awakening VR finally came out. And once again, thank you all so much for not only going and checking out the video that I did. I worked my tail off for it, but the response to that video has been awesome, and really I am incredibly humbled by your response, guys, and I just appreciate you so much. But now it is time to get into more darker things, which is Metro Awakening VR. I've got a lot to talk about here. Of course, I've got, my core rundown of it in that review. But guys, so I didn't have a ton of time to play this game. I ended up playing Metro VR Awakening all Saturday long. I beat it in one day, which I don't recommend overall. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I do recommend Metro Awakening, but I don't recommend trying to beat the game in one day. It was from 12 o'clock all the way playing it until 1:30 in the morning. And when I finished the game, I literally collapsed to my knees and just watched the credits and was like, that was awesome. My body hurts. I need to go lay down. That's my review. Now, guys, so this is a really cool one, man. This game, of course, introduces something that we don't get a lot with a lot of VR games. And that is, of course, a cinematic, narrative-driven game. That is something that we don't get a lot of, honestly. We get a lot of games that have like these core mechanics, they VRify things, and then they kind of stop there. I was incredibly impressed with this game overall. There's a couple comparisons that I would like to make. Now, the easy comparison for me is like I was playing through Metro. Oh, and this is going to have no spoilers, by the way. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to do my best to not spoil anything, but I will be careful not to avoid it. Playing through Metro VR, Metro Awakening, I got through a lot of it, and I remember thinking to myself at one point, dude, this is what Sony needed to do with Call of the Mountain. This is what I would have wanted. Like, it can be a little bit smaller scope of a game, but it needs to be high quality, and it still needs to be like a fully fleshed out game. Compared to the flat screen Metro games, this game's a little bit smaller in scope, but compared to most VR games, this game is a big AAA style quality game. And it is super quality storytelling. Of course, you all have heard 1,000 times, it's always based, these games are based off of the Metro series written by Dmitry Glukovsky. And that's always added like a really nice, like immersive storytelling element to it. And the way they executed it here was really, really nice. And the other two comparisons I have, first of all, this is probably the best delivery of cinematic storytelling in VR that I've seen since like Farpoint. And I mean that in the way it's a completely different story. Obviously, completely like different story, characters, everything, emotional reaction than Farpoint. But I'm talking about in the technical way that it was kind of like shot and delivered. They got really creative here, and it's a mix between, obviously the game is all in first person, but some of the cutscenes they actually even move to like some third person shots, and then like they have some cutscenes that are in first person, and then they even go in like third person for some of these, which I thought was really interesting. But the execution of the storytelling was done really, really well overall. Some of those cutscenes, I thought that was pretty cool. The other way that the story is told is kind of just, it does kind of like turn into somewhat of like a walking sim in some parts, where this game is, the first half of this game is really front loaded with lots of action. I mean, they introduce you with the mechanics, they kind of do a lot of things. The second half of this game, they start throwing in a lot of these moments where the story is told with like you walking down the path, and what's interesting is kind of the visual elements. Again, gonna be trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible, but the way that you kind of are it's not like you're just walking through and then like there's just talking, or you're sitting there and standing there and talking. I mean, there is some of that, but there's also like this, like you're walking through and there's some stuff going on, some kind of trippy stuff, to be honest. And I really, really enjoyed those moments. First of all, because I was like, my God, like if the whole game is going to be like the first half, then it's like, this is going to wear me the hell out, because it is intense. It is action packed. I thought it was pretty challenging, actually. I didn't die a whole bunch. I played the game on normal. I wanted to play on hard, because that's usually how I like to play these games. But again, with the time crunch, I had to play on normal for now, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was challenging. I didn't die like tons of times. I probably died like 5 to 8 times total. But I did feel like I had a lot of challenge. Like I did feel like it was challenging, and I was tested along the way, which was really nice. So difficulty wise, I feel like Vertigo games actually balance the difficulty better here than they did with Arizona Sunshine Remake. That was also great, but really like there's like the Arizona Sunshine Remake had like a survival difficulty, which should have been hard, but it felt more like normal. And then there was a nightmare mode, which should have been like nearly impossible, but that just felt like hard mode. So it was just like a little off. Like it was fine, but this is much more balanced. I will definitely be playing through this a second time on hard mode. Absolutely. I cannot wait, because my first time I was playing through it for a review. I didn't rush it too much though. Like I was like, I really don't want to rush this. But there were some places where I was like, okay, I could sit here and look around for a long time, and like I just want to like mess with the environments, explore, look at the detail, because the graphics, man, the graphics in this are something that immediately stood out to me. As I mentioned in my review, it does use reprojection, and I think the biggest problem I had from a technical perspective was I did encounter a lot of Mura in this, and it did kind of distract me a little bit, but I was able to like still enjoy the game entirely. That's not something I'm extremely sensitive to. I've played tons of games that have it, like Resident Evil and all sorts of things. But I did think it popped out a little bit more here than I'm accustomed to seeing. And we still don't know if this is like a headset to headset thing or what. The good news is that tons of people have been pointing out. I even saw somebody leaving a comment. Somebody was like leaving a comment about this as well, is that I have heard that adjusting the brightness of your headset can really help alleviate this. So that is something I do want to experiment with, because I'm definitely used to seeing that's my only problem with, that's the biggest flaw of Sony's reprojection, I think, is the Mura. I like the ghosting. Ghosting is a problem too for some games. This is I think for darker games like this, the ghosting isn't a problem, but for darker games, the Mura becomes a problem. So it's kind of a pick your poison kind of thing. But that being said, just the level of detail here, the quality of the graphics, the special effects, there's like some really good use of some epic special effects. As you know, Metro has a little bit of a supernatural thing going on. And man, those moments of those supernatural kind of moments, things were really well done and really cool and super intense. Looper says, does Mura really have anything to do with reprojection? I just feel like, no, not really, but I feel like I notice it more with games that use reprojection. And something just seems like I notice that more than I notice ghosting. I hardly ever notice ghosting unless the game is super bright and colorful and it's really bad, like Call of the Mountain. But so again, something else I pointed out here is, dude, one of my favorite things about this game is they really put a great emphasis on keeping this game as immersive as possible. And they did something that really makes me fall in love with this game. And that is the diegetic UI. And this is something I pointed out in the review as well. But man, thank you, Vertigo Games, for thinking about this, because there's nothing like, it's become almost sort of a pet peeve for me where I'm in a game and the HUD starts popping up. Like I don't want to see, look, I want to be immersed. I usually like to turn the HUD off. I turn off subtitles. I highly recommend doing this too, unless you just have to have them there. I always recommend, do not play with subtitles. Do not play with like HUD stuff if you can, if there's options for it. But diegetic UI is basically where all of the UI elements are integrated into the context and visuals of the game itself. So like, instead of a floating health bar here, you have like a watch that monitors your vitals, or in this case, they nailed it. And this might be one of the best UIs I have ever used in VR ever. I think this is one of the best UIs of all time for VR, because everything is represented in context in the world itself, and nothing aside from the tutorial pop-ups in the beginning, aside from some of the tutorials that you need in the beginning, all that stuff goes away. You don't have markers, you don't see like waypoints or anything. And that's something else, is that I feel like they did a really good job of kind of like, even though you don't have like a marker saying, hey, go over here, they did a really great job with the level design, where it kind of steers you in the right direction, and you don't get like too lost or anything. Of course, part of that is because the game is pretty linear overall. There's some more open rooms or rooms with like multiple paths, and there's lots of vents that connect a lot of stuff, and you definitely do a lot of crawling through vents. But yeah, man, I had to give a massive shout out to the UI, one of the most immersive key features of this game, which is incredible. They did such a lovely job with that, and I hope to see so many more games implement this as well. Like, yeah, can we just get rid of menus and stuff? Can we do that now, please? Because it makes a huge difference. Speaking of what makes a difference, man, the equipment and the weapons in this, this is really also well done. There's manual reloading, as I mentioned in my review, which I'll stop saying that. But I thought they also did a wonderful job with just the VR interactions. This game is VR AF, as we like to say. And this really captures some of the best that what taking a popular IP and making a VR exclusive game out of it. This is like one of the best examples I can think of. And this is like what I want to see more of. If they're going to be doing this, I don't want stuff like Call of the Mountain. Honestly, I feel like this game out Sony's Sony with what they did here. This, in my opinion, I know other people are going to feel different, but this destroys Call of the Mountain, because even though it's the same IP, it's a smaller scope game, and they VRify it a bunch. They don't sacrifice too much of what the experience is like, or what it's like to be in this world. And I'm not gonna just shit all over Call of the Mountain, but really I can't stress how much that was a flop and that was a disappointment. Even though it had some good moments, it's not a terrible game, but it's not that great, and it's not something I would want to replay. Unlike this, which is like, no, I want to replay this a lot and just explore more of what it has to offer. And gameplay wise, they nailed the gun mechanics. I mean, all the manual reloading feels really good. And of course, like I mentioned before, the diegetic UI, where there's not an ammo counter, but instead they've got this like little slit in the clips in the magazines that you can actually see each individual bullet to know how much ammo you have. Also something that is really, really cool. Looper, the Underground Game Cat, says, have you played any of the flat screen Metro games? I've played them maybe like a couple hours at best, a long time ago when they were like free PS Plus games or something like that. And I had mentioned before that I had played them some, and my favorite thing about them was really like the storytelling, how they were also, even flat screen, they were very immersive because of the storytelling. I think I'd be more interested in just reading the books, to be honest. I'd almost be more interested in just reading the books than playing the games, the flat screen games, but we'll see. But anyways, so moving on, there's the weapons, and there's not a ton of weapons here. There's no upgrades for them, which is unfortunate, but I didn't really feel like they were really that necessary. It would have been nice, but again, the scope of the game would have to be bigger for that to be really necessary. But the equipment, man, one thing I didn't mention in the review was like the healing thing. And this is where they did, so while they didn't use dynamic foveated rendering, I don't think, but it definitely uses reprojection. They did take advantage of some of the features, some of the most important features, and that is, of course, the haptics, adaptive triggers, and headset rumble. They really did a great job with these as well, which is something we love to see. And one of the pieces of equipment you have are these little like healing syringe, or not a syringe, but like a little healing device that you like. You replace the cartridges. You find the little like healing fluid, or whatever you want to call it, the liquid heals. You find the liquid heals, and you press a button to eject the cartridge, and you put the liquid heals on your little tool, and then you poke yourself in the hand or the body somewhere, and then you squeeze the trigger, and then it heals yourself. Really, really great job with these mechanics here, which I thought was a lot of fun. Then there's stuff like grenades, which you can get, and you can pull the pin and throw them, and the throwing felt really good. little vials. Thank you. I'm gonna stick with liquid healing, liquid heals. But anyways, of course, the haptics adaptive triggers used really well with the weapons. There are some like mounted weapons as well, like a 50 caliber turret or something. And all that was executed really well. And then let's see here, dude. I'm pretty sure there was something else I wanted to mention about that, but holy smokes, just really, really high quality overall. And then I gotta, of course, give a huge shout out to the soundtrack. My goodness, the soundtrack and the sound design overall is phenomenal in this. Even just from the beginning, you're kind of riding on this little, like, these tracks, and it's just doing like the intro credits and says, like, you know, the splash screen, Metro Awakening. The music during that part was beautiful. Also, the even the end credits music was beautiful. I just sat down, like I said, I collapsed when I beat it, and I just sat up against the wall and just listened to the music. It is super high quality music, which is something I'm very sensitive to sound design and music, because I mean, for several reasons. I mean, I grew up loving music. I've always loved like epic scores from different movies. Danny Elfman was the reason I ever started playing music. And again, I played music for 15 years. So sound design, music quality is something that's really important to me, and I will always point out if it stands out. And it stands out big time here. That is something also that helps me get really immersed. It adds to that. It adds just another layer to that cinematic experience when the music is on point as well. And man, they did a great job on here with that. And just sometimes you're sitting there and there's really nothing happening, but there's like this swelling of like these screeching violins, or like this swelling of this awful sounding stuff, really like haunting and terrifying. But just like I'm like sitting there, and it's like going, and I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to charge my flashlight. Like, come on, man, like, leave me alone. But yeah, the music itself. Oh, the thing I forgot to mention was the gas mask. Yeah, like when I was talking about the equipment, you know, there's the lighter that you have, which is really just for, like, I guess in the game the only time you have to use it is just for getting through spider webs. But then there's also apparently some other possible uses for it. But dude, the gas mask, man. Okay, so here's the thing about the gas mask in this game and why it's so awesome. Ninja Cat in the house. What up, man? What up, Alec Blanco, World Hayes, Steve IRE, Jars of Ash. Good to see all of you guys. Durbin Brown, thank you for joining, man. Good to see you. The gas mask is done incredibly well here for a couple reasons. Number one, you can see really, really well. When you put on the gas mask, it doesn't, this is something that usually like can obscure your vision. And that's usually by design. But they were like, no, like, we're going to let you see here. And so you have a wide range of vision with the gas mask here, which is very, very nice, because there was a lot of times where, like, I could leave the gas mask on, take it off. It didn't matter. It doesn't make it more difficult. But you do have to kind of keep up with it, because there's gas mask mechanics to it, which is really nice. In particular, there's the filters, the air filters that you have to replace. So one difference between the flat game and the VR game is that you don't actually go outside in this. I'm guessing some of that is to do with it being a prequel, and some of that to do with, like, you know, they kind of just made it in the context. It would have been cool to go outside a little bit. I definitely would have liked to do that, But the closest thing they give you is some areas of the metro, some tunnel areas that the ceiling has caved in, and so it's exposed to outside. So there is like light shining through, and there is some outside stuff going on. Well, not really, but you're exposed to outside is what I meant to say, because of those like holes in the ground and stuff. And in these rooms, you have to wear the gas mask. The radiation is very, very high. And again, with the diegetic UI talk, they have your trusty watch, which tells you how much time you have before your filter runs out and you need to replace it. And if you don't, as I learned at one point, you choke and die of radiation. So, Looper, I see you mention that Batmobile in Arkham Shadow. I see you mention that everywhere. I'll get to that in a minute, but yes, we know there's no Batmobile. But anyways, we'll get to Batman after this, I promise. But anyways, my favorite feature, of course, with the gas mask has to be the condensation and like dust or whatever that builds up. And it's got, you see these little condensation droplets that build up on the visor of it, and it looks really, really cool. It just again adds to the immersion, but it looks really detailed. It's just like all these little details that make it so immersive. And of course, to clean your visor, you just go, which you will probably slap yourself in the headset a couple times. I'm sure did. Raise your hand if you accidentally slapped yourself in the face trying to clean your visor, because I did a lot. You don't have to keep your hand right up. You don't have to actually wipe your PSVR 2. You can just get close to it and it'll still do it. But man, I couldn't do it. I see some talks about click turning. There's definitely smooth turning in this game. I played the entire game with smooth turning on, and and I don't remember if it's in the gameplay settings, or you go to the settings and it's either in gameplay or it's in comfort. It's in one of those two. But you go there and then just scroll down. If you scroll down, the smooth turning is in there. It's nice that the comfort settings are there for those that need it. But that stuff actually makes me sick, so I don't like using that one bit. So yeah, you can turn on smooth turning, turn off comfort vignettes, all those things. More, VR veterans are probably not going to need that. But yeah, absolutely has smooth turning, just to confirm. Thank you, for bringing that up, because it's definitely something that people have been asking me about. And it's like, yes, there's smooth turning. But anyways, so a couple different things, I guess, that I didn't touch on in my review, rapid review, because I didn't want to go too in depth with it. I wanted to save that for today, for launch day. But I had talked about like how this is it's really nice to get like finally another like well executed cinematic game. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I would expect from Sony, to be honest. More narrative driven, immersive, story driven, but full of action kind of stuff. This feels like a Sony exclusive kind of game to me. But story wise, the closest thing, there's a lot of comparisons that I could make. Obviously, if you've played any of the Metro series, then you know what the lore is like. This game reminded me of a couple different things. Now, number one, in the intro, the delivery of the story, of the cinematic, like the cinematography almost of this game, it almost felt like I was entering like Metal Gear Solid at first, because like I said, when you're on the rails and you're going down the rails and the credits are popping up, and it's like the intro to a movie or something, but you're like experiencing it, you're moving through it. It almost reminded me a little bit of like a Metal Gear Solid intro, if you remember, kind of like the way the credits are popping up and you're seeing stuff happening, like snakes swimming in the water. For some reason, I got a little nostalgic, even though there's no connection whatsoever. I got a little nostalgic about that. But the other big comparison that I had, bags, I would kill for a Metal Gear Solid VR. Absolutely. Stealth style. Which you can do in this game also, by the way. There's 2 different play styles, like I said. You can go in guns blazing or stealth. We'll get to that in a second, though. But the other comparison to me, story-wise, delivery-wise, this might be a little bit of a deep cut for some, but it really left me with a similar feeling, a similar vibe that I had playing Spec Ops: The Line. Does anybody remember that game? Because that was a game that nobody really knew about or cared about until they played it, and they were like, holy shit, this is really good. Like, this is a really good experience, a really polished, well-told story, things like that. This was like kind of, this for some reason gave me a very similar experience to like Spec Ops: The Line. And then, like I said, with the credits anyways, like some Metal Gear Solid vibes a little bit in the credits. And of course, the gameplay. But does anybody remember Spec Ops: The Line? I want to know. Okay, Awesome Tatum knows. In the way that it's kind of like, you know, heavily story-driven shooter, it really just, I for some reason that connected in my brain with that. Awesome. Lots of, or a little bit of love already for Spec Ops. Great, because that's a fantastic game. But yeah, it just kind of gave me some of those vibes. And I think the thing that resonates with me with that, or that connects me with that, is just the quality of the storytelling, with also being a quality shooter, which this is in fact also a very quality shooter. I love the multiple approaches that you can have taking down the enemies, at least the human enemies. The lurkers, as I pointed out before, the lurkers were so fast in this. I was really surprised. Usually in a lot of VR games, they kind of dumb down or slow down some of the enemies or whatever, to make it a little bit more easy to manage in VR, because sometimes VR can be harder for some people. No, not this. They said, we're going to throw this shit at you quick as hell, and you got to be fast. And those lurkers, man, they gashed me like every single time because how fast they were. They never killed me, but man, they always wore down my health, and they were a pain in the ass because they're so quick. The humans, you can go in guns blazing or take them down stealthily. Like I was definitely channeling my inner Solid Snake, and was walking up behind people like freeze, and then bonking them on the head. I like that you can punch them in the head, or you can, what's much better is just grabbing your pistol and just pistol whipping the shit out of the back of their head. That will definitely disengage the target. But anyways, the only reason you can do it either way. It felt like in the first half of this game, or the majority of this game, maybe the first 75% of this game, there was like tons of ammo they gave you. So like I'm usually like, I was thinking like, oh, I need to conserve every bullet, blah blah blah. And then I was like, man, they really give you so much ammo. And also I love the scavenging around in this world, where like you find like ammo or bullets and stuff, but you don't, like, if you find like, it's not just like a full clip. You find like literally like pieces of or like pieces of magazines, or you know, a couple bullets here and there, and you kind of like store up your ammo that way. There are some like ammo boxes that give you full, like a lot more. But I did think it was really cool. Another little details, how like I'm like going around picking up like 1 to 3 bullets at a time, and adding them to my thing and stocking up on them as much as possible. Here's the thing though, I didn't really think you had to conserve ammo until I got to the very end. The very end of this game, and I don't know if this just happens to everybody. I would love to hear if anybody else experiences this. But by like the last quarter of the game, I was completely out of ammo, and it was really difficult. I don't know if this happened to anyone else, But I was like spending my ammo the whole game. I'm like, man, they keep giving on me all this ammo, making it super easy to just, okay, we don't have to be very stealthy here. There's no reason to. But by the end of the game, I was out of everything. And all I had was a freaking blow dart because I didn't conserve any of my ammo. And let me tell you, that last end of the game is a little bit more difficult when all you have is a freaking dart gun or a blow dart, not even a dart gun. They have a dart gun where you're like you hold it up to your face and then you press the trigger. You don't actually have to blow, but definitely a weapon that I was like, this is so useless, until the very end where it literally saved my life. Pretty crazy. And I will be interested to see if, the scarcity of ammo is something that occurs more on hard difficulty. I definitely, like I said, will be jumping back into this. I want to replay it from start to finish. And this time, rather than spend like 8 to 10 hours beating it, I want to spend like 13 to 15 hours really taking my time. Because like I said, while I didn't rush through it, I also didn't just wait around either. From the get-go, they put you in this room and it's like the best freaking looking room ever. And there's like a piano and the piano is like really well made and you can actually play the piano on it. Like I wanted to sit there and play. I think I spent about 10 minutes with that piano, but I wanted to play for a lot more. I was like, man, I could write a song on this piano. This is really good. But yeah, man. So as far as like the negatives here, so a couple things are apparent here is the way they kind of reuse some of the things. Obviously, it's all supposed to be like in the tunnels, but they do reuse some of the same sections. Now, to me, I was like, okay, it works because it's in the context of the game. Definitely doesn't take away from the immersion here, but it works with the story. But I was like, all right, like they're reusing some of this stuff here. That's fine. I'll let them get away with it. They do stretch that out as much as humanly possible that they could, which I'm okay with because I feel like they made it work. They do change some things, mainly like with the story, the events that take place. So when you revisit some of these places, there's something, different about it. So that did help. But it like I said, it would have been nice to go outside. It would have been nice to, they don't have to change up the environment a ton, but I do think like going outside a little bit more would have been cool, or being able to go outside. Yeah, Awesome Tatum says, biggest negative, I want to go to the surface. That was the best part of the flat games. Yeah, that's one thing I would have really liked, is to actually go to the surface. Maybe a couple more enemy designs. All the enemies in this are pretty high quality. But again, they do kind of like, again, they repeat some of them a little bit too much. There were some sections where like you just fight like 10, 15, maybe even 20 lurkers, or like 10, 15 nozzles, things like that, 10, 15 enemies, humans. And it did kind of feel like, okay, like how many of these things do I have to kill? So it could get a little bit repetitive there. But again, I was just having so much fun that it didn't bother me. But this is something that usually would bother me. If it wasn't so high quality, it is definitely something that would have bothered me a lot more. But yeah, they reuse some of the parts. They reuse, there's some parts where, it repeats itself a little bit too much. But those are probably like the biggest criticisms I have, that and maybe not going outside. Those are really minor compared to like what you get here overall. So I think that that covers most of everything else I wanted to say about this game. Honestly, this went on for a little bit longer than I thought. I wanted to do a deeper dive. I didn't expect it to be like a 30-minute deep dive. That's about as deep as it gets, though. There's so many more other things I could say that I really enjoyed about this game. Overall, like I said, I hope to see more games. When a company says, hey, remember this IP that you love? Like, this is it in VR. This is the VR version of it now. This is what I would like. I mean, to me, if you're not going to do a hybrid game, obviously I think like a hybrid game, always makes the most sense to me. But if you're not going to do a hybrid game, this is kind of like the next best way that this happens, which is like taking the IP, making kind of like a spin-off, something that's true to the original IP, VRify it a bunch, do like, flesh out all the mechanics, make it really high quality. They obviously used a lot of assets from the game and whatever. I think Deep Silver had to get involved here and probably provided lots of assets. Dude, like the NPCs. See, I didn't even mention the NPCs. There's so much more. I have a lot of things more I could say about this, but we have to move on for the sake of time here. But there's a lot more things I could say. Some parts where like you're sitting around a campfire or a barrel fire, and those NPCs, the detail, the quality of them is really, really nice. Oh my God. Like the textures, they look so lifelike, so well done. They look better than Call of the Mountain, in my opinion. The NPCs do. And then I did like just randomly how like you can drink the beers and the liquid, man. Like I was like, what? I'm like, what? Why did they put so much attention to it? Like they no other game that I could think of has done bottles or beer bottles or drinking better than this game. There's really these minute details that are so incredibly well done that made me just love this game. Like you can see it. You can see it in my review. Like I'm pouring out a beer and I'm swirling it around and the liquid's actually following it. Like the physics of it is really well done, and pouring it in my face and it's splashing up, and it's just incredible, man. Like little things like that, I think VR gamers absolutely love. And stuff like that is how you take something where it's like, okay, there's a full game here, but I can just spend all this time just looking and playing with this one thing alone, and it's like that's the kind of stuff that VR gamers I've learned have like really, really love. Oh, they're vodkas, not beers. Thank you, Looper. But anyways, overall, guys, like score wise, if I had to put a number score on it, I think the safest score, and the lowest that I'd be willing to go is an 8.5. I think this game is great, but that's also with a huge thumbs up of approval. And like, this is a must play. And just remember, guys, games like this, we're a much smaller audience than flat screen gaming. And I want to see more games like this. This is one of those games where it's like, go out and get it. Like, this is worth going out and buying and experiencing. And I love the price point of $40. It feels like a return to form like last gen, where it's like, okay, here's a AAA quality game that's a little bit smaller in scope, but fully fleshed out for VR, super high quality. And it's not the full price. It's not the price of like a full length game, even though it is a full length game or feels like one. It's not $60, $70. It's $40. And I feel like Vertigo has earned it here. And so I highly recommend going out and getting it and supporting games like this, because I want to see this more. I want to see more games. I will pay $40 every single time that they release something of this quality, this much replay value, this length, all this stuff. So highly, highly recommend Metro Awakening. They killed it. And yeah, in the previews leading up to this, I drew some comparisons to like Half-Life, and I do think they kind of Half-Life Alexified this from the Metro IP into the Metro series, similar to like what Half-Life did. Maybe not, completely different games, completely different things, but I do think it's that same kind of formula that they took, except this feels a little bit more like free. I don't know. It feels both are incredible though. But anyways, so that is the deep dive. Wow, that was a long one. Mark Poppin' Pringles Leaf says only 8.5. I was hoping for at least 8.6. To be honest with you, would my objective self, trying to be as objective as possible, which is impossible, but trying to do that, I would say 8.5. For me personally, this is like an 8.9 or 9 out of 10. I was really, really impressed with this. I had a blast with it. I want to play it some more. I I think this would be somewhere between an 8.9 and a 9, and just a flat out 9. Just I'll give it to him, you know, kind of deal. But it was fantastic, and I highly recommend it. All right, before we get into Batman, we've got 2 donations. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. I hope you enjoyed the deep dive into Metro Awakening. Awesome that we're getting games like this, guys. Awesome. One has delivered so far. We got plenty more to go these next 2 months, but one has delivered so far. Always love to see it, and hope to see more. Red Rover, send Joe Grover over. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Says, hi, AJ. Hi, Red Rover. Says, I rarely get time to VR these days. When I do, I only play stellar titles. When I do, I only get to play stellar titles. Sounds like this one qualifies. Oh, and Dargans. Yes, Red Rover. Thank you for the donation, my friend. Appreciate the love and support. Right back at you. And yes, this is one of those, like, yeah, if you don't have a lot of time, this is one that I definitely think is worth playing. It's a narrative, cinematic, story-driven shooter. So yes, big thumbs up. It's a long game. It's like 8 to 10 hours. I mean, which is long for a VR game. But it's very like focused and streamlined, and I think you'll get a great experience out of it. Lincoln Clay with another donation. Thank you so much, Lincoln. Appreciate you, brother. Says, just left Best Buy with a Pro. I'll let you know what I think of GT7 and No Man's Sky on Twitter. Hell yeah, brother. Let me know. And enjoy, man. Congrats on your PS5 Pro. Congrats to everybody out there. Like I said, the people have been getting them as the stream is going. So it is, you know, fresh out of the oven. Definitely try No Man's Sky. Try Kayak VR Mirage. If you got your PSVR 1, go try out Star Wars Squadrons and Dreams and see if those have a huge difference. Those would be really cool to know about as well. No Man's Sky, I expect to have a huge difference. GT7, I just think will just be running very smoothly. Again, they have to patch it. So not expecting anything huge or any difference at all really with Gran Turismo, other than it's just going to run really well. But which it did anyways on a base PS4. So we'll have to wait and see. But it'll definitely be running. It definitely won't be dropping any frames or anything very much. All right, guys. So moving on. Before we conclude with the massive PlayStation sale, I got to talk about something first. I had mentioned that, you know, I wanted to get a Quest 3. I was thinking about getting a Quest 3 just to play Batman Arkham Shadow, because it's made by our dear friends over at Camouflage. And lo and behold, the VR gods have shined upon me and chosen me. And I have been fortunate enough to play Batman. And I have not played this enough to give like a full review. I had to get through Metro first, but I was so antsy to play this. And I finally got to play the first couple hours. And so just for fun, guys, I want to do a little quick first impressions on what a PSVR 2 and PSVR longtime alumni playing a Quest 3 for the very first time, give you my first impressions of Batman. But guys, so this is the Cliff Notes version of how to summarize my first experience with Batman. Is that I played for like an hour or two, and my thoughts after about an hour and a half to 2 hours, my thoughts were, you guys, this is one of the best VR games I have ever played. This is really, really good. And you know what happened next? Like mind-blowing good. Like this is one of the best VR games I've ever played, to a mind-blowing level. And you know what happened right after I said that? The freaking title screen comes up and it goes Batman Arkham Shadow. The game was just getting started and I was like, oh shit, like okay, like this is already a mind-blowing experience. This is amazing. And And like, I'm just getting started. This is incredibly well done, you guys. And what I love about it is you get to do a lot of the things that you would want to do as Batman. And as you can see here, I did my best to capture the footage. I know the quality of the footage is not the best, but holy crap, you guys, the combat. So you get to do all these little different Batman-y things. You've got your detective vision here, which really is awesome. And you do lots of like actual mystery crime solving stuff. But then look at this. You can also, the combat here, guys. Okay, I'll get into the detective stuff in a second. The detective stuff is really awesome. They do a wonderful job of that, which is an important staple of Batman. He's the world's greatest detective. So they really did it justice here. But on top of that, you've got the ability to just this combat, man. Okay, so here's the thing, is that when I played, this is obviously one of the Arkham. This is in line with the rest of the Arkham games that have been coming out for 20 years now. Like Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, Arkham City. But there was something about the combat in those games that really, I liked the Arkham games a lot, but excuse me. I liked the Arkham games a lot, but I never really was the biggest fan of the combat. It was always very button mashy to me, and I was just like, okay, like the cinematic quality of this and everything is great, but I've always had this thing against games that are just like kind of just, I've never liked that fighting mechanic of just mash button, and then unless I'm playing Dynasty Warriors, I typically don't like button mashers, and it always felt really button mashing to me. The big difference here though is that, holy crap, you guys, when you're actually throwing the punches and having and doing those reactions, those counter punches yourself, that is such a big difference. And the combat here, the combat is the thing I've probably had the biggest exposure to so far. The combat in this is absolutely phenomenal. The way they VRified the Arkham series combat is like really, it is masterfully done. There are, there's all these different mechanics to the fighting. It's not just like, oh, you just punch them and you bop them or whatever. It's like, no, it gives you all these little like hit targets, like these different hit points. There's all sorts of different ways you can attack people and go about doing these things. It gives you a lot of freedom to kind of customize your style a little bit. And you can be stealthy, which I've been really, really enjoying doing, being very stealthy. I love the grappling hook, the using the bat grapple, but using that is very, very satisfying. Very easy to use as well. Here, I definitely was trying to go around, trying to be smart and sneaky and stealthy. And like you throw your hands up and it'll grab somebody like this. You pull back, you twist left and right to choke them out. There's a lot of really deep combat mechanics here that are so incredibly well crafted. And that is the biggest thing to me. But you know what complements this combat system really, really well is the level design. The level design is also really well done, where they have these open areas. You can kind of, it's a mixture. Some of it's linear, some of it's kind of open. But you can kind of form your own strategy. And I love that there is like hey, make your own strategy to kind of go about how you want to take down these 5 goons. Some of them have weapons, some of them don't. The ones that don't have any guns, the ones that just have melee weapons, you can kind of just go in and take down like 10 of them, 15 of them at a time. But for the ones that do have weapons, you got to be a little bit smarter, because they'll light your ass up real quick. But there's also like these like special different moves you can do. Like right here, I think you'll see you can like drop down here. Oh, well, I didn't mean to do that. You can actually like do some special things here. I don't know what happened here. This glitched out or something a little bit. But what I was trying to do was actually jump, I think maybe I do it to them here. No, I got their attention, but there is like an alert system here. So you do have to kind of like be careful. They can note like, kind of get caught and then like they all start looking for you and chasing you, and you can get like these different perks to like, go back, return to the shadows more easily and stuff. Here's just another little showcase of just some little side stuff that they have. There's like these Rat King radios that you can go around. These are like secret little things you can find and get to. This part that's coming up was probably one of the most mind-blowing parts where I was like, oh yes. It was so sick. I don't know if I'm gonna show it here. If not, if it doesn't get shown here, it's fine. You'll get to just experience it yourself. But this part coming up was pretty mind-blowing. I love that I got to use a payphone. I haven't used a payphone in also like 20 years, and it was very nice. You can actually call the numbers. But yeah, man, so like I said, I can't do like a full review on this. I've only played a couple hours of it so far, but I am really, really blown away by the design of it. It is really incredible. And again, I had to give some love to this because of our dear friends over at Camouflage made this. And this is absolutely, here's a quick look at, watch me wreck some of these dudes here. You got the cape throw. This guy's armored, so you got to throw you actually reach down, grab your cape and swing it at him. But here's like a good look at the combat in action. You've got the little countermeasures or counterattack thing lighting up, and you got to throw your fist in that direction. And then there's like some of these, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the combat, but oh my God, it is so incredibly satisfying. And like I was worried about some of these pop-ups kind of breaking the immersion, but no, all they do is just provide like it is still very immersive. It almost like adds these arcade like elements without compromising the fun and immersion. It feels very unique. I mean, like I said, they really did a great job with this, and I love all of the extra little bits here. Something that did kind of bother me a little bit, if I had a criticism, which is very few, is like I don't really like that menu popping up after a fight. That is like one of the few immersion breaking things that I think did happen, where I was like, okay, we just talked about Metro, talked about diegetic UIs and how important that is to me. I like turning off HUDs. It's like I would have rather just been able to turn off that score menu thing than see that every time, because it kind of takes me out of it a little bit. I like more diegetic UIs. The only way that it kind of gets away with it here is that you do have like an AR mask on, right? Like you can use your detective vision. I almost would have rather it pop up in the detective vision and then go away like this, but just popping up here is like, okay, I really don't need this big menu popping up right here. But small complaint. I do hope that there's like there ends up being an option to add it. Dude, this part here was so incredibly sick. I don't think I'm going to show it to you, which will be good. It'll be better off for not spoiling it anyways. But holy crap. Nick Mulo says, does Jenny answer if you dial 867-5309? Oh man, that's good. You can actually press the buttons and dial. I wasn't sure how to use the payphone at first, and I was like, oh, you actually just dial the numbers that it's telling you. But guys, this part here was so incredibly sick. I'm gonna make sure I cut it off. Most likely, maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. But guys, I am so incredibly impressed. Now, making a comparison of Quest and PSVR 2, obviously there's some differences. It's a little bit of a trade-off. This is wireless, but also, you know, it's wireless. It's a little bit easier to use or whatever, or doesn't require like a PS5 console. But as the trade-off here is that it's wireless. You get the pancake lenses. The pancake lenses are super nice, by the way. Those are definitely a nice feature. But the trade-off is also that because it's standalone hardware, graphically and the LED screens, that's where PSVR 2 has the advantage. Also with the haptics, adaptive triggers, headset rumble. So while I fully expect this to be a Quest 3 exclusive, it would be really awesome to eventually see this on PSVR 2 or PSVR one day, because of just how good it is. But that's okay. I think, you know, for me, I think this is why the PS5 Pro can wait for now, because it's like, all right, I want to play some of these exclusives and stuff. But yeah, the pancake lenses are super clear. All right, guys, do you want to see this part or no? Quickly answer yes or no, because otherwise it's happening. If you don't want a spoiler, turn away now. Turn away now if you don't want a spoiler. But you got to see how freaking awesome this is right here. If you don't mind the little tiny spoiler. Okay, everyone says show it. Okay, if you don't want spoilers, turn away. If you want to see it, look at this. Boom. This part, you guys, this stuff like this is why I love VR. This was such an incredible moment. And I was so, like, my adrenaline was pumping so hard right now. I absolutely wrecked each and every one of these fools. If you're worried about spoilers, don't worry. You can look now. You can look now. There's no more spoilers. I didn't show you what was it was just like a it was just one quick thing. Now you can look again if you didn't want to see spoilers. But dude, I effed these dudes up so bad right here, because I was just like, let's go. I didn't care if there was like 20. I was actually surprised I could take down so many. Boom, there's your little gadget, your smoke bomb. See, again, Batman's smart as shit. So you got to be like Batman and be smart as shit. Think smart here. And I use like all my tools and gadgets at my disposal here. But guys, this game is so good. This is one of the best VR games I've ever played. And I love to see this. I want to see again this. Dude, we getting this and Metro and like Into the Radius lately, like getting this, and especially Metro, like this is what we want, man. This is what we want. This is what's gonna move the needle for VR. So I really hope to see more of this. But to my friends over at Camouflage, thank you for this game. And all I gotta say is, after playing this, my first impressions are well done. Well done, my friends. This is really good. Like, really good. And like I said, I was like, after that part, I was like, holy shit. Okay, my mind is officially blown. Right after that part, it was like, okay, credit, or it was like intro screen. But welcome to Batman Arkham Shadow. And I was like, holy shit, this was just the beginning of this game. And then the next sequence happened, no spoilers. And then I was like, oh, this is good. Like this is getting interesting with the storytelling now. So thoroughly impressed so far, man. Mind blown. This is mind-blowingly good. Amazing. Like I don't see how this could be anything less than like a 10 out of 10 so far. But really amazing job, Camouflage. You guys you killed it. And you know, it's such a, like, Iron Man was really good, but man, this is like so next level. This is like as good as that was, this is just like leagues ahead. And and you got the Batman IP. What a cool IP to have. It must also be really fun. I imagine being amazing getting to work on this as well, with this IP. This or Metro? Oh, don't make me do that, man. They're both must-haves, okay? They're both must-haves. But anyways, incredible first impressions for this. I'll maybe share some more thoughts again later once I beat it. I have a long way to go though. I'm pretty sure it's a full length game, and I have a long time to go. I'm only a couple hours in, but incredible. All right, guys. So now it is time for the final segment of the show. There is a huge HYUGE sale on PSN right now. So if you don't got the money for Metro, you don't got the money for Quest 3 and Batman, I still got you covered, man. I still got you covered. Thank you, Lose Reviews. Because there's a boatload of games on sale, and we are going to do what we always do, Pinky. Try to take over the world. No, we're going to go through and give the thumbs up, thumbs down on each of these games. Now, there's a lot here, you guys. So I am going to try to go through these pretty quickly. Are you ready? Start your engines. It's going to be kind of like as rapid fire as possible, because otherwise this will take another hour. And as always, feel free to leave your recommendation. Your lovely comments are up on the screen to where people can see it. Give your thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Here we go. Let's go. All right. So first off, we have Resident Evil 4 Gold Edition, PS4 and PS5 for $29.99. Okay, look. In any other case, I would say yes, but not this one. Not this sale particularly. You can get Resident Evil 4 for $19.99. Go get that one. That's a big thumbs up. This one, skip. I'm just using what the PlayStation Store gives me. Into the Radius for $22.49. 2 thumbs up here. Absolutely 2 thumbs up. Honestly, there's 2 golden buzzers worth here. This is, if I could use 2 golden buzzers, this is one of them. Guys, Into the Radius is a must-have. Best VR guitar as well. Best VR guitar I've ever played. You have to play Into the Radius. Please buy it and support it and play it and enjoy it and love it and learn it and live it. Yes, 2 thumbs up for Into the Radius. Next, we have Project Wingman. Ew, no. $23.99, don't care. Project Wingman sucks on the console version, and skip it. Hard pass. Madison VR is $24.49. I know spooky season just came and went, but dude, another 2 thumbs up. This is another golden buzzer worthy absolute must. You got to get Into the Radius. You got to get Madison VR. Otherwise, you're missing out on some of the best VR games in existence. Don't do that. I am here to save you from yourself of making the mistake of missing some of the best VR games ever made. That's what I'm here for. Go get those 2. 2 thumbs up for Madison VR. Breachers is $20.99. If you have PlayStation Plus Premium, you can get it through that. That'd be the best way. I like Breachers, but I'm going to say pass. I don't think it's like anything super special. It's fun, but I'd like it for cheaper if I could. So I'm going to say pass this time on Breachers. Exorcist Legion VR, $17.99, or you can save 5% more if you have PlayStation Plus. Has anybody not played The Exorcist yet? If you haven't played The Exorcist, then it's pretty. I mean, look. This isn't like a must-have this sale, but if you're just interested and don't have it and want to play it, I would recommend Exorcist. It's pretty cool, but it's more of an experience. But it does have also a nice upgrade on PSVR 2. Not a must-have during this sale right now, but still a good game. Tennis on Court is 50% off for $17.49. Meh, it's okay. It's actually not that bad for a tennis game, but it's a very simple tennis game. But I'm gonna say no. We got bigger fish to fry here. Like Vampire the Masquerade Justice is $19.49. I love this game. I'm gonna give it 1 thumbs up here. I could give it 2. I highly recommend Vampire the Masquerade Justice. It is another 8 to 10 hour full length game, the kind of game that I love to support. And you get to be a freaking vampire, and it has vampire VR mechanics, and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like Dishonored or something, like Dishonored, Assassin's Creed, that kind of game. Action, stealth. You have really cool summoning powers or whatever. You can spawn demons to come up to the ground and pull people down. I loved Vampire Masquerade Justice. I am going to give it 2 thumbs up here for a recommendation. Absolutely. The Light Brigade is $17.49, or with PlayStation Plus, you get additional 5% off. Light Brigade, definitely thumbs up. Excellent game. Has always gotten some really nice updates. Probably going to get a PS5 Pro update. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. It is a roguelike shooter, but it is a good one. Very atmospheric and great gunplay mechanics, and good soundtrack as well, sound design. I enjoyed it a lot, but note, it is a roguelike shooter. But still, thumbs up for that. Vertigo 2 is $19.49. This is probably one of the biggest and best indie games, especially like for basically being a solo developer. This is a really awesome game. I give a big thumbs up for Vertigo 2, but note that it does have some bugs and some jank and some, it has some rough edges, and it's also missing things like haptics, adaptive triggers, little bit disappointing there, but it is still just a really fun and creative shooter, and it is a pretty large game. I've never seen one developer make a game this big, the size of like a full-length game. So I would give a recommendation for Vertigo 2, but just know that, if you have PSVR, the PSVR version is supposed to be the best one. If you don't have PSVR version, I still recommend this. I enjoyed it a lot, but it has some rough edges. So, Zombieland Headshot Fever is $18.74. With PS Plus is 5% off. Ooh, this is getting expensive. I gotta say yes to Zombieland Headshot Fever. It is really good, really underrated, kind of overlooked. Shout out to my dude Hasib, who was like, dude, how come you never talk about this game? And I was like, oh my God, I forgot that game exists. And I went back and I played it some more, and it was really fun. I got several good hours out of it. If you like arcade shooters, then I would recommend it. And it's got kind of like some deeper mechanics to it. Cities VR Enhanced Edition, $16.49. That's a good price for this game. It's a small, bite-sized, cozy game. I never got back to really playing it, but my first impressions on it were really good. It's not really my thing. So is it a good game? Yes. Would I recommend it? I don't know. I mean, it's good. It's a good game. So if it looks like your kind of thing, like I would, but overall I'm like, I could pass on it. It's just not my type of game. I don't really care for those types of games. Next we have this Resident Evil Village bundle thing. Again, skip this. Get Resident Evil Village for $15. Resident Evil 4 for $19.99. Next, we've got Happy Funland for $17.49. Now, I saw Wes in the chat. Wes is going to be mad at me. A lot of people are probably going to be mad at me. I say pass, man. While it had a couple cool things about it, I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't very good. I don't think I've played it post-update, so that might change. But as of right now, from what I've played, easy pass. Not missing out on anything. Next up, we have 3 epic roller coaster things here. Ooh, Jay, the foveated rendering game cat, gives Happy Funland the golden buzzer. Wow. Okay, so definitely some people in the chat are saying strong recommendation for Happy Funland. I know Wes loves this game too. For me, pass for now. Amusement park bundle, the Real Places bundle, and the Super Roller Coasters bundle. Okay, guys, listen up. Very important. So Epic Roller Coasters is free. It's free, but there's a lot of paid DLC for it. For the love of God, stay away from Real Places bundle. Stay far away from the Real Places bundle. Do not touch it with a 10-foot pole. Amusement park bundle is okay. It has some it has like one or two pretty good, like really good ones. But if you have to get if you had to get one of these and want to expand your epic roller coasters experience, get the Super Coasters bundle, and then go play the Armageddon map. Is it Armageddon? Hold on. I don't remember if it's called Armageddon. Snowland is great. Halloween is just okay. Wyvern Stage is great. Lost Forest is meh. Dread Blood is meh. Neon Rider is okay. And then Armageddon is awesome. So really, you would want to get this one, and the best ones are Armageddon, Snowland, and Wyvern Stage. Those are really, really good. Those are some of the best that this has to offer. So would recommend those for sure. Beat the Beats VR. I haven't played this, so I'm going to pass on this. VR Skater is $11.89. Guys, huge 2 thumbs up. VR Skater for $11. This is one of my favorite PSVR 2 games, period. It takes a lot from the Tony Hawk series. Really nails. There's a big learning curve with this game. So it does take some time to get going with it, but like by the end of it, you're like doing super combos. Really, really good. I'd probably recommend that over. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it over the Pro bundle. I like the DLC. The DLC is very good. The Pro courses, Pro skating rinks, but they're not like a must-have, and that price point throws me off a little bit. So highly recommend VR Skater for $11.89. Also clear and crisp graphics, really, really good. The Red Matter collection, you should already have this. $29.99. Sure, why not? 2 thumbs up. Red Matter 1 and 2 are some of the best puzzle narrative-driven adventures, or I'd say puzzle adventures. It is narrative-driven, but it's not really the story that makes them cool, although there's it's more just like the atmosphere and the puzzles and the technical aspects of them are fantastic. Gun Club VR, $17.99. I used to love Gun Club, but it's kind of a last gen game for me, so I'm gonna say pass on Gun Club VR for now. Not a must-have right now. Hello, Robert M. How's it going, my dude? Good to see you. Restmania in the house tonight. Princess Summer Scales, Mark Papa Briggles Leaf, Game Cat Behemoth, Salvador, my dude, in the house tonight. What is up, man? So good to see all of you. Secrets of. Awesome. All right, so next we've got Afterlife VR, $11.24. No, I'm going to say no to this. I actually have this, but I haven't even played it because it got I don't even think it cracked above a 5 for any review. Walkabout Mini Golf Hole-in-One Edition, 47. Is that? Hold on. Sorry. Whoops. I clicked the wrong thing. Yeah, $47.59. That is a lot, but that does come with everything. Maybe start with the Walkabout regular version first, and if you like it, get the thing. But I mean, Walkabout Mini Golf is a lot of fun. If you have people to play with, well, I highly recommend Walkabout Mini Golf. Without other people, it's still good, but it wasn't as fun by myself. Drums Rock Complete Music Edition. Okay, I would say, if anything, just get the regular version of Drums Rock when it's on sale. I love Drums Rock. It is awesome. But it's not a must-have right now. If you want a good drum rhythm game though, if you're a drummer, if you like drums, absolutely play this. It's one of the best. One of the best the best VR drums I've ever played, or like VR instrument games I've played, and it has a lot of good music, a lot of good covers in it, great soundtrack to choose from. So I maybe would recommend this. I like VR or Drums Rock a lot. Next, we have Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye for $12.49. That is an excellent price for this game. 2 thumbs up, in fact. If you want a point and click puzzle style, narrative driven mystery kind of game. It is a puzzle game. It is a story driven puzzle point and click adventure. If you ever love stuff like Monkey Island, oh my god, like I'm blanking on everything else now. All those other point and click adventure games, and want something like that, I highly recommend. Also, remember, if you're watching this later, keep your eyes on the chat. They are also giving their recommendations down here below. So it's not just my opinion. You get more. Sugar Mess, Let's Play Jolly Battle, $16. I haven't played this one, so I can't say anything on it, but I have zero interest in playing this. As far as I know, it's a wave shooter. The Twilight Zone is $11.99 or 5% off with PlayStation Plus. Still gonna say pass. I didn't really like it one bit. I just didn't like it at all. Did not like it. So hard pass on Twilight Zone. Dyschronia. I'm not into visual novels, but if you like visual novels, maybe it's good. Brain Beats. I didn't play this one. No. System Critical. Interesting. System Critical 2 for $5. Now, here's the thing about System Critical. It is heavily inspired by old school, kind of like id Software and Mega Man kind of games. Here's the thing. System Critical 2 is not a high quality game, in my opinion. It is very, very low quality. I know it's one developer, but for $5, maybe. Like $5, you could do a lot worse. Just know that it's rough. Like it's really, really rough. But for $5, you could do worse. Wouldn't be my first choice. Anyways, we got to move on here. Synth Riders 80s mixtape, side A. That's a Synth Riders DLC. There's lots of Synth Riders stuff on sale here. These are all really good Synth Riders packs. All of this is good. Man, this is hard to choose from. Is Synth Riders itself on sale? Like, what's going on here? Where's the actual man, I don't know because you can buy individual songs on Synth Riders, so you can kind of just pick and choose what you want. So you don't have to really get everything, but Synth Riders is awesome. I'm gonna maybe pass on that for now. Down and Out for $4.34, 2 thumbs down. Steer far, far away. Probably one of the worst games ever made in existence. Stay away. Also, in that same company, Smash the Lock Tarzan. Smash the Lock Tarzan. Tarzan. Smash Lock. Tarzan VR is $11.99, 5% off with PlayStation Plus. No, wow. We started off the sale really strong. Now we're getting to the butt end of this. The games are just getting worse. Aside from Synth Riders, the games are just getting worse and worse here. Avoid Tarzan. I do not like it one bit. Mixture, the ugliest video game mascot ever created. Hard pass on this. And then there's the Dyschronias, which I said is visual novel. Pass on those personally. So let's rapid fire real quick. Run through my biggest recommendations here. Into the Radius. Buy it. Madison VR. Buy it. Vampire the Masquerade Justice. Buy it. These are my strongest recommendations. Epic Roller Coasters, Super Roller Coasters. Buy it. Play the snow level, the Armageddon level, and the Wyvern stage level. Buy it. VR Skater. Buy it. Red Matter, you could maybe wait for a different sale. Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye. Buy it. I'm trying to save you the most money here and get you the best games. That's it, guys. Into the Radius, Madison VR, Vampire Masquerade Justice, VR Skater, and Retropolis Never Say Goodbye. These are the absolute must-haves from this sale that I highly recommend you pick up. Woo! We got through it, you guys. Hour and 40. There were 1, 2, 3. There were 4 items on my run of show today. 4 items. The PS5 Pro, Metro, Batman, and the PSN sale. And yet, this was an hour and 45-minute show. Old Darth, I am... Okay, so before we get out of here, as always, I like to open it up to you guys and chat a little bit. This is interactive chat. After all, I've been talking for a long time. Let's see what the people have to say. Old Darth says... all right, let me throw on some eye candy while we do this. Okay. Anyways. Old Dart says, sorry if I missed it, AJ. Are you getting a PS5 Pro? Not yet. Once the PSVR update comes out and or the games, there has to be more games announced with official support. And then I will. If I played flat screen games, I absolutely would get a PS5 Pro. I only play VR, and that also requires developers to go in and update the games. We got to wait to see who does that. So no, at this moment, holding off for now. Looper, the Underground Game Cat says, play Triangle Strategy VR. Is that on PC? I've heard about this. I think I saw like Gamertag or something talking about this game. Let's see here. Game Cat Behemoth, good times, my friend. Indeed. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. Let's see. Secrets of... He's at his head in a 3D printer as the TPU filament keeps clogging the hot end. I have no idea what that means, but I'm going to imagine that's a lot of 3D printer speak. Prentice Summerscale says the last worker is going for the price of a burger. Has a 6-hour story, fun hover cart locomotion, stylish cel-shaded graphics, likable characters, combat, and job sim sections that are addictive. Prentice Summerscale's going to bat hard for the last worker. Here's the thing, though. You said it's the price of a burger. Where's that burger from? I mean, that doesn't mean what it used to be. It could be $2. It could be $5. It could be $20. It depends on where you're like, is it what kind of burger are we talking about, Prentice? Give me some deets. Mark, Papa Pringles Leaf, thanks so much, man, for being here. Jay, Foveated Rendering, Game Cat, he's got that DFR enabled permanently. He had DFR surgery on his eyes. So jealous of you, Jay, the Foveated Rendered Game Cat. For $5, I'm thinking I might grab System Critical. I'll play it at some point. Yeah, you could definitely pass on it. Trust me. Like I was hoping for, I don't know. I'd probably say pass. I definitely lean towards pass on it. It just doesn't feel like a product. It feels more experimental than it does a product. It does have a couple things. I remember, and my dude, my metal feline friend, I think, now it's Ryan, my metal feline friend, does go to bat pretty hard for that. everyone's having the realization. They're like, oh shit, like, yeah, burgers are expensive nowadays. So I still don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know how much the last worker is, because a burger can mean anything. It ain't $1. I'll tell you that much. 2 burgers then. Wait, did he say how much it was? A good burger costs about €14 at least, says Steve IRE. Prentice Summerscale says vegan burger, of course. Just me? I'll see myself out. No, you don't have to go anywhere. I won't hate on your weird ass vegan burger. I will say, okay, look, I will say one of the best burgers I've ever had in my life. I shit you not. This is a true story. And look, I am a carnivore. Like, I love steak. I love burger, like meat, beef. But I gotta give credit. One of the best burgers I've ever had in my life was a smoked tofu burger. It was amazing. It was just smoked tofu. And it was incredibly delicious. One of the best burgers I've ever had. Does not compare to, I don't think it compares to any of the best real burgers I've had, but I was pleasantly surprised by the smoked tofu burger. 8.5 out of 10. Pleasantly surprised. But I eat a lot of meat because I need lots of protein. My body shuts down without protein, so I must have meat. Mark Poppin' Pringles Leaf says I enjoyed Vampire as well. Very nice to see. Game Cat Behemoth says, oh shit, Light Brigade, finally. Okay, so you are picking up, sounds like you're picking that up. Poppin' Pringles Leaf also enjoyed Vertigo 2. Awesome Tatum, did I convince you to get Vertigo 2 on PSVR 2? You have a PC though. Why don't you just get it on PC? Get it on PC. You elite PC guy. Secret Sub says tofu. I would rather eat a pencil rubber. What's wrong with pencil rubber? Doesn't everybody like that? 80 quid for a Wagyu burger. Where you're getting your Wagyus from, Beard. Somebody revoked my red meat card. No, you can't have my red meat card, dude. No, I will. You could pry it from my cold dead meat hands. Oh, old Darth picked up Into the Radius. Let's go, man. Dude, that is like the secret. That is the best hidden gem of this year. I shit you not. Into the Radius is by far you heard it here first. The PSVR Underground's 2024 hidden PSVR 2 hidden gem of the year goes to, checks notes, Into the Radius. In fact, I will actually roll the Into the Radius trailer here. Dude, yeah, enjoy Into the Radius. Dude, check out that guitar in Into the Radius. It's so good. You can play that shit so like, oh, I think Twitcher, is it Twitcher that's going around saying he's got like 150 hours in this game? Let's see here. Regos Pantaleon says, I already own most games on sale. Oh, well, good for you, man. Way to support the VR scene. Let's do it. No shame. Looper, the Underground Game Cat, says Retropolis 2 is more of a hidden gem. Yeah, I would say it is more of a hidden gem, but I also think Into the Radius is a better game. Both excellent. Into the Radius is like, oh, damn near. It is pretty amazing though. Let's see here. Old Dart says, AJ, have you noticed when using the PSVR 2 on PC, there seems to be less Mura? Yes, I have. And the reason I think is the PSVR 2 on PC, the clarity is phenomenal. And yes, there is less Mura. I don't even think I've ever seen Mura on PC VR with the PSVR 2. With my rig anyways, I've never even seen it. Out of all the games I've played, I tend to notice it mostly with reprojection. I think it has to do, honestly, I think it has to do with a couple things. The reason Mura can pop up really bad on PSVR 2 is I think it has to do with the port. I think when they take the something to do with the port, the way they're running it, and the reprojection. I think the way they port it and the reprojection that it has, something with the code, something with the reprojection, I feel like makes that Mura pop out more. But yeah, I haven't noticed it on PCVR at all. Robert Rethmania says Mura on the wall. Scott the PSVR Game Cat says hashtag hire AJ. Guy son, fist bump to you. Nom 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 tofu. Eating his tofu. It's a good boy. Good boy, Guy son. Oh, he says tofu is good when cooked correctly. Kung Pao tofu tastes like eating the protein versions. Buddhist temple food tastes really good. Interesting. I will show up to a Buddhist temple and be like, hey, you guys got any tofu? I got a friend who said it's really good here. I just want to see if he's a fucking liar or not. Oh man. But anyways, yeah, tofu is good if you cook it right. That's right. And really the way tofu is good by extracting the flavors from other things. It's basically It's basically the mimic. It's mimic food. You have to get it to mimic the other food really well. A tofu scramble is all. Man, this is like a tofu podcast now. What the hell is going on here? Tofu scramble is also really good. I used to have really bad allergies to eggs, and I couldn't eat eggs, but I could eat tofu instead, and that was really good. Mexican tofu scramble. Try it. It's good. Right back at you, guys. On fist bump to you. Awesome Tage, just like Five Guys. Enough said. Five Guys is really good. Five Guys is so much better than, what is that place in California that everybody loves? In-N-Out Burger. Man, I know I'm going to get some flack for this, but every Five Guys I've ever had has been like, well, that sounded wrong. Every Five Guys restaurant that I've ever eaten at for a burger it's been so much better than In-N-Out Burger. Like, In-N-Out Burger, I think, is so overrated. Unless I just missed something. I must have missed something when I went to In-N-Out. I had it like 2 or 3 times, though. There's some secret at In-N-Out that somebody's not telling me, because I've had it like a couple times. Mark Smith says, you know who else likes Five Guys? There he is. Where are you at, Wes? I need Wes to just pop in here for 5 seconds and just say, my mom. Let's see here. Yeah, Five Guys also has shakes. Does In-N-Out Burger have shakes? I like Texas, the Whataburger, more than Five Guys, In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out with five. Okay, it's getting kind of raunchy in the comment section, and I kind of love it. I'm not gonna lie. Dratz Ebb says Whataburger is the best in the U.S. Whataburger is good, but really the thing I like about Whataburger is the spicy ketchup they have. They serve spicy ketchup. You automatically win my recommendation if you serve spicy ketchup. Whataburger is pretty good. I like that when I was out in Texas. They have one here now too, actually. So it reaches here now. If you're in Texas, honestly, there's like as good as Whataburger is for a fast food place. Like you can do much better if you're out in Texas. Go eat the real food out there, because damn, they've got some of the best food I've ever had. Oh my goodness. Game Cat Chicago. Speaking of really good food, so seriously, is Metro VR PS5 Pro enhanced? Is that official? Not that I know of. No, I haven't seen anything about that. I don't think so, but oh my God, you guys, I am so hungry. I was hungry before this stream, and now I am starving. So I think we're gonna have to wrap it up here. But thank you, like I'm for helping my appetite now, because I'm gonna go gorge on some delicious food. I don't have any groceries though, so I might have to go out and get something. I am out of groceries. I've survived the week on turkey sandwiches. Hard times, you guys. Hard times. But those times are always less hard. It just doesn't stop. Because of you fine people here who came and joined me today. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Hashtag feed AJ. Some people are mentioning Greg's. No, I've never heard of Greg's. And I did hear somebody else say doner kebab with chili sauce or something. Oh my God, all this sounds so good. What are you doing to me, guys? But guys, I love you. Appreciate you so much. You are the absolute most phenomenal community. Seriously, guys, you humble me every single week. It's why my ego will never get too big, because y'all always keep me humble. I appreciate you so goddamn much. You have no idea. And yeah, man, thank you. Thank you to everybody who is here watching now, contributing in the comments. A lot of people here today, man. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the night tonight. Thank you to all the donations that you gave. You know, all of you guys like support so much always. Lincoln Clay, Red Rover, Nihilus Ryan, Salvador. Appreciate you guys so much, man, for the donations. It really, really helps. Also, thank you to these lovely people down here who support me on Patreon at PSVR, patreon.com/PSVR Underground. Thank you so much. I'm sorry it's been a little quiet on there, but I've been trying to be more active on the channel, but I hope to at some point get some more extra. That's where you get to support me, and I try to get some extra freebies on there. So thank you. Guys, you're amazing. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the night, and I will see you again very, very soon. Tell me how you like in Metro. Go enjoy another AAA game, or tell me what you picked up from the sale, and let me know what you think of it. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the night, man, and I'll see you again very, very soon. See ya. Y'all are the best. Drats Ebb, oh, not letting me get out of here, giving me some pizza money. Thank you so much, man, for the pizza money. Maybe I'll go get pizza. I kind of want a burger after all that. I kind of want like a really big juicy burger now. But maybe I'll get a burger pizza. The pizza on my burger. I don't know. I'm starving. I'm about to pass out from hunger. See you guys. Bless.